you understand what we're all about. And so we're going to have some speakers come and just give us a little brief overview of the things that their passions are. And I wanted to just say to you, I don't know if anybody else does this but me, but John sends this out every single time we get a new member.
Sorry, my wife.
Okay. Anyway, he sends this out, and it has everybody's name, phone number, the whole thing, how to reach everybody, emails, and it's very important information. Has all the committees on it, all the people that are on the committees, and so you can look through here and see what people are doing, and then if you're at the meetings, you can see what's going on with all the committees. And it's very important to have this to be able to communicate with people in case you need to reach me or, yeah, okay?
Good job.
Okay.
Are you handing that out?
No.
It gets emailed every time we get a new
John
member.
sends it out.
John sends it out.
They got it.
When we have a new member, he adds that number.
Great.
And so he sends it out, so you can print it yourself.
Amazing.
We have it.
Nothing from the
Save it to
cheap
our
seats, okay?
files.
Yeah, right, so you get it.
Yeah, it's just among the other 106,000 emails.
That's all.
This is something that the executive secretary is supposed to do. Martin doesn't do. I've been doing it. So yes, after every new member, once they've been entered and have a number, they're transferred on another club. Then this is updated and sent out to everybody. It used to be far more expansive than this, but we cut it back down.
You go forward, 'cause
Every time we get a new introduction, we have to
What about education?
He
no,
just did.
no. Just welcome and all that.
Oh, I just will.
John, would you put perhaps our lights on, or Sana's gonna come?
She is.
Oh,
Yeah, she's excited. Yeah, I just told her she didn't have to. She said, oh, I don't listen to you so long.
she can have dessert.
Oh,
yeah.
Is the dog?
Whatever you wish.
That's a good idea. You tell her.
Is that screenshot? You're gonna let all the bugs in if you don't.
Oh, man.
All right, so John is going to talk to us about
Thank
the
you.
Education Committee and some other committees that he's on that you might be interested in joining. I don't know, have you joined anything or felt like you were moved to?
John and I are discussing that this evening, after this meeting.
After.
The meeting
I didn't know you guys had a party.
Is that how you're getting her to stay new dishes?
Wow.
Ah.
We can all go home.
That's how we're doing it live.
Well,
It's
I was
like,
supposed to do it meeting before last, ran out of time, and then this last, same girl, it's hard to do it after a meeting because there's so many people that want to talk about things. So, I've got her file, I'm ready to go, I'm going to sit in the library. But the best thing about doing this is that she's going to be told more than I would normally tell her. So by the time we meet, this should be like a 5-minute meeting. She already knows what she wants to do.
Yeah. All right, well, come and tell her about the education community. You're up.
Okay.
And I'll sit right here.
I didn't get invited to this last meeting after the last one.
You did, you're on my list. There's a sync list I have. It's got everybody's name on it, including yours. I copy it, paste it, boom, it's in there.
Was there a meeting in May?
We had 2 meetings in there, yes.
We didn't get invited.
The last one?
We're talking about the general meeting?
No, the education meeting.
Oh, the education. Okay, well, that's James Bradford. And so I will chat with him about that after our meeting. Now what happens is when we make a decision, when I send emails to the chairs about who wants to go with it.
Oh, so that was special for April. Sorry.
Well, I actually belong to several committees, not just one. And education is Jane Bradley's committee. He took that on. It's probably the most important committee we have in this club. We're predominantly education based. Always have been. It's just been our track record. And this year we've reached some fundamentally remarkable endpoints that I was surprised at. Is we've always had generally 9 scholarship students or such, but we now have 19. So we've really grown. We got a recent $10,000 donation from a former member through those states. We have another $10,000 donation planned to come in December 2022 during the Burns administration from the TAN Foundation. And don't get too excited because a lot of this is maintaining existing scholarships. Doesn't mean I can go out and get 20 new scholarship students. So we have to figure out who's going to maybe be staying based upon their grades and achievements, and that's how we have to plan ahead. But we've gone, to a record we've never had before. We've never had this many scholarships. One of the latest things that happened, and I think it's remarkable because we've been working with our Rotary group. Unlike Joe's administration, we didn't do it last year, but this year we have. They came up with a unique idea that we weren't fully aware of. We were clueless. Is that the schools couldn't open back up unless they had active water systems, filtered water for drinking. And due to COVID, Meduca was spending all the money buying drugs, not fixing things. So they didn't have any money. They brought it to our attention. We got excited about it, and we decided to try to fund, I think, about 10 schools, and ended up only being 8 out of those 10 needed repairs. So we were trying to raise the money, and the bad news, good news is that while we're in the process, my wife passed away, and I was talking to Terry Nowak about it because we were doing memorial for her, and I wanted to honor her, and we talked about this. We decided to make it the Bogdan McGann potable water school project, and in doing that, I told my relatives about it. They sent another $2,550 to us, and so we were up to around $6,800. And the beauty of that is that we didn't anticipate getting much more than $4 grand. So it extended our reach. We were successful in getting Meduca to allow us to take a couple of existing tanks that are sitting around their aging doing nothing and use them in other schools. So that reduced the price for Grupo de Agua. And now we're going to probably be able to do 10 or 12 schools. So that was a phenomenal project that we've never done before. But it just came off of Rotary. So the coalition we developed with Rotary is really working out. Okay. There's another recent project that just started taking place, and James Bradley described it in our last meeting. I had a call out of the blue from Jerry Acosta and his wife involved the program called English. It was called English, or what they call it, English Camp. And he explained to me what it was about, and essentially they're missionaries. He is. I know Rotary says we're not supposed to affiliate with political or religious groups, but what got me intrigued is that this is being run through Meduca, through the Panama government. They basically license and they're fishing with this, so that they're working through the Minister of Education that Jerry's wife Kyla knows very well. And because of that, a couple weeks ago in the library, James, Jenny, myself, Jerry and his wife Kyla met, and they're in Panama City. They drove over, had a meeting with us to explain what they're doing. Their test pilot project happens to be here in Boquete, which is why we're excited about trying to work with this. And the other reason why they came up is because they've been working with a man by the name of John Drusbaum, who is the governor-elect of District 5520 in the USA, which is New Mexico and part of Texas. And John's known him for a long time, and he's been pursuing it. And he thinks it's workable because, again, they're working through a government. In other words, different agencies can work for the government. It can be non-political, it can be religious, or whatever. In a way, it doesn't matter because we're working with the government entity, not them directly. So John wants to turn this in, if it works, into a global grant. And if it does, he wants us to be the international host.
Now, who's John?
Governor-elect to District 5520, New Mexico.
So he's spearheading this, and he's doing a global grant out of New Mexico.
Right.
So what is our role? We're going to be supporting.
This project is
it's a
project for all of Panama, not just for Boquete. They want to do it throughout all of Panama. Meduca wants to spread this throughout all their schools. Okay. Do we get involved now? I don't know. But it's just like Monchichi. It was through Jeff Flynn that had a neighbor by the name of John White, who sat on the federal board, that told us about what she was doing in Guatemala. We had no idea. But because of that basic connection, we connected with Rittmeyer, and next thing we know, we're doing a global grant project here. the second version of it here in Panama. And now she's got her second approved global grant in Guatemala. She's starting. So it's just happenstance the way these things happen. People connected. And this is just a happenstance value that we were connected with because there's a school in Boquete. They're going to do it in June. And we're going to help them find all the volunteers. Hopefully a lot of them come from our club to do this. If this works out, John wants to make a global grant out of it through Rotary International, and then wants us in Panama to be the international host. That means we'll probably end up partnering with other clubs here. Obviously, we can't do the whole thing. But fundraising is crucial to doing this. We haven't determined any of those details, but this is just another example by getting to become a bigger club. We're finding more options now. We're being introduced to more things. Our reputation's getting out there. Before we were so small, it was hard to consider doing anything of this nature. The DV Club's 41 members. Guess what? We're 41 now. And hopefully in June, we'll end up having 3 new members and we'll be above them. I'm also the membership chair, in case you didn't know. And as Tom pointed out to me, I didn't realize it, but he had me look at the full list. I counted everybody here, and up to the next 3 people, I've interviewed 30 out of our membership. I had no idea I'd done that. So I guess I got a footprint here, but I agreed to be the membership chair now for Vernon's term and also for Tony Royale. And then like Doug, I'll probably resign and move on to doing other things. But I want to get this club to a certain venue. I want to take it to 60, kind of cap it, and then maintain it with what we call Friends of Rotary.
40 is a great number, John.
Yeah.
40 is a great number.
John, what else does the education committee do? Something else with the projects?
The Education Committee has other projects which were on hold because of COVID. One of them we've done for years is the RIGHT program. That's the Rotary International Teacher Exchange. And from Wichita has been a U.S. partner, brings in English teachers here to meet down at Galega and bring a lot of Panama English teachers into meetings here over a week, training them in improving their educational skills in English. We also usually send 1 teacher back to Wichita. This time we want to send 2, which is not going to happen in January during Vernon's term. But everything's been on hold. So now we'll be able to interview 2, probably help them get their passport and visa and send them to Wichita, which is a big deal for these people. They never left this country. They never would if it wasn't for us to get educational skills outside of Panama, right? And then there's Wiley. That's a Rotary Youth program, leadership program, which is usually a seminar, which again has been put on hold. So until they open up that project for us to get back into, we weren't able to do that either. We had money planned to fund it, we just couldn't do it, so we were on hold.
You know, it's amazing when you have new members here. This is like learning a new language. Lila, you know. Leadership for And then, of course, it takes months for you to figure this out.
Years, it takes years.
It took years to do
Years.
it.
I mean,
Took me
Al
patience.
and I have only been members for a year, and we're still
Being a
finding.
new member is a tough job.
It takes a long time to
Yeah.
navigate everything. And you have to have the time to do it.
Rotaract.
Yeah, I know
And
that.
there's another project we've been working on for a couple of years called Link Connecting. It was a different term before that, but it was buying these tablets during the lockdown, providing to students to go online and actually get education online versus sitting at home doing nothing and dumbing down. And that was working, but it was an experimental project. It still is. Vernon, you're going to have to probably meet with Ginny in June and get a real understanding of where this thing's headed, because she's now hanging on Rotaract with that Kasanga program to make it work. Before, we were working with a different format of program that's international scope. And I don't know where this is going. I don't know if we're just doing this or if this is going to do another stuff. But I think you need to figure it out, because that affects your business plan for next year.
Like that.
Okay. So that's education. I've told you a bit about membership. If I've talked about environmental, I will, because I'm on that committee. I'm also on public relations with Vernon, or fundraising. And Vernon can talk about that one.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, well,
Linda, would you like to speak
Sure.
to the foundation?
Absolutely.
Enlighten us?
A point counterpoint, actually. my impression in coming into the Rotary Rotary de Boquete was, oh my God, this club has more projects than any other Rotary club I've ever been associated with.
Okay.
And no, so
Telluride's
that's
pretty
where I'm
good.
saying half the projects, but it was all combined. You know, the club gets together and does them. I think here we have a lot of committees and a lot of projects, and I didn't know, frankly, half the projects we were doing until I'd been hanging around the better part of the year. So one of the goals in doing the newsletter is trying to cover the range of what we're doing. So I think we're way ahead of the game in terms of the number of things we're involved in. So for new or members, trying to get a handle on that and saying, hey, where's my passion is going to be great. And it's not stuck in time. You could say, hey, I'm really interested in public image, I'm really interested in the education group, and I think I can contribute here, or I really want to learn here. But it's not set in stone, it's not permanent, you could do multiple things, don't do volunteer burnout, please.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the president will keep a good eye on making sure you don't get overcommitted into too many different directions. But now let me circle back to foundation and say, welcome to all of you. All of you are going to be members of Rotary Foundation. That is the key point to this entire organization. You're members of the Club Rotary de Boquete, and we have about 40 members. And our club falls into District 4240, which is 4 countries. It's Panama, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica. That falls into a zone, which is multiple districts, and then that goes into Rotary International. Rotary International is about 1.4 million members globally. You're about one of 34,000 Rotarians around the world. And one of the strengths and passions that Doug and I found immediately was, with Rotary, you can make a difference. We got involved in a project trying to ship medical equipment overseas on our own. And we found, you know, the military was going to ship it for free. All the hospitals are happy to empty their warehouses and write it all off and get that for free. And we got stuck trying to get equipment across borders, you know, where baksheesh was in order and, you know, the complications there. But Rotary has people on the ground everywhere, and you work with your affiliated clubs. It makes a difference. Rotary runs by a foundation. You're getting dues. You're paying club dues. Those all go to administrative costs to help run the club. But when we do fundraising, when you donate to the Rotary International Foundation, that's the money that spearheads these global grants you're hearing about, where we pull money together to really make a difference for maternal and child welfare in the Comarca, like the Manchichi project, like other projects we'll get involved in. Be it our clubs, headline project, or if we join in with other clubs elsewhere. In my old district, we used to just jump on each other's projects all the time, you know, and cost share and really got involved in many, many fun things under the 7 umbrellas of Rotary, which are you all familiar with? Literacy, which is, as John said, our kind of flagship enterprise for Boquete. Disease prevention. As you all know, the #1 program globally for Rotary is eradication of polio and polio vaccines. And you'll see it's this close. Clean water. And they always said, they've been bandying for a couple of years, that's going to be the next big thing once we truly eradicate polio. Is it going to be clean water, which is so important in so many places, maternal and child welfare. You were all falling asleep. All right, enough there, enough dessert. Well, the environment is the newest. It used to be 6 avenues of service, and environment is the brand new one within the last 2 years for Rotary. And when we started an environmental committee, everybody jumped on that. I'd say that really grabbed the most people, and it may grab each one of you as well. I mean, because the fun thing about the environmental committee is they're off, digging and planting trees and doing a lot of hands-on stuff to help better the environment. And, but part of saying welcome everybody to the foundation is you're part of Rotary, the club, you're part of Rotary International. I hope as time goes on and we talk about different things, we can encourage you to help donate and contribute to some of the different funds that are going around. And there's this particular one called the Share, which for every dollar you give now, our district gets 50% of those funds back in 3 years' time to use for our own projects. So that's very exciting.
So if I get $5 to the foundation, in 3 years, how much comes back to our district?
2.5.
Thank you. And what do we have right now in the district, how much?
I think those numbers are wrong, and I need to double
I
check.
heard it was $600.
It didn't look like much, except that when we were out at this conference, we heard there's a competition between Coronado Club and the Club David, and they're giving a lot of money, and there's a lot of Paul Harris fellows there, so I need to double check those numbers. And I would like to introduce you all to Jeff Braddock's lovely wife, Rosanna. Anything else I was supposed to talk about? Oh, yes, we just went to the district conference. And remember we said, here's the club, and we're part of District 4240. And that was, it's every year the district conference goes on. And it's a bonding experience. It's open to all members of the club. Information flow goes through the president, so young Vernon will be receiving information and disseminating it to all members of the club as he receives it, so that if you're interested in signing up for the next year's meeting, then you'll know in time to join in and set it up. It'll be in San Salvador, because that's where our incoming district governor is from. But we had a blast. Everybody was lovely. It was meetings. There were 3 plenary sessions. One was a vote, because coming up this year, we voted on 2 representatives who are going to vote for the zone director. And for example, our old zone is the incoming president for Rotary International. So it's a big deal to be a zone director, because a lot of times that moves you up to a Rotary International president.
And you said that you was there for the national village?
Yeah, they actually, for several of the sessions, they did line us up with translators. But everybody and their dog spoke English, and everybody wanted to sit next to us, and everybody wanted to kind of translate. We understood the gist of it, and everybody was a professional presenter, so they weren't going too fast, and you could dive down. Doug stuck his phone with the Translate app right next to the speaker and got a full, good translation through it. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, he looked weird, but they all thought it was weird.
It worked for me.
And we had a lot of fun. We met so many people in dancing, and I'll tell you, they love Boquete. Everybody wants to come to Boquete. So if we want to set up a party here,
Or you told them all about it?
well, they all knew that. Yeah, Boquete is a very popular destination. So anyway, I would really say go to the district conference. You feel part of a bigger piece than just our club here, and I think it's a very growing and knowing experience. So we did a vote. Everybody presented, all the assistant governors presented their part, and Antonio Singh is our current assistant governor. He's going to be our district governor in 2 more years. He did a presentation, he did a beautiful slideshow. he had Boquete on about 6 of our projects up there.
Yes.
So we got a lot of applause
Yep.
and a lot of
Big deal.
notoriety. So,
Thank you.
yeah. And then also we heard Panama was the #1 country in the region for Rotaract for the district, the 4 countries. And then we heard subsequently our Club Rotario de Boquete is the #1 club.
What?
So,
Last year at last year's Toma, we were ranked number 6, and we had been near the bottom. So we came up to 6 last year, and now we're number 1.
for Rotaract.
Rotary. Okay, wow.
Any questions? I'm sorry, we didn't bring our morangos or whatever that they distributed for the, I think that was the Nicaraguan team, giving us all,
You can dance.
yeah, that's right, put the music on. Well, thank you all for your attention.
Okay, next, I was going to talk to you about our committee, which is the admin committee.
This is really difficult following 2 great presentations about some of the most exciting things that our club is doing. Kat and my wife Kat and I, this year were tasked, as soon as we became new members, with rejuvenating the administrative committee, which is a pretty boring committee. Sorry, but it's important. We thought it was important to discuss all of our committees because in our clubs differ in the way they work. In our club, the way we get things done is through committees. Until you have a good idea where you get it forwarded, made into a professional, and it's approved as a project, it goes to a committee. There it gets a project manager, and you get in the budget, you get funding, and that's how things happen. Our committees are what make this club work. So our administrative committee in this rebirth first designed and produced the new members orientation guide, which our new members received, and in conjunction with that accumulated a library of recommended reading, the club's constitution, bylaws, and policies and procedures, which were then emailed out to kind of get you started on the orientation. We do mundane things like service greeters, get our guests to have name tags, produce your own, become a member of your own name tag. We also do things like help arrange meetings like this. This is our second one. John did mention in his introduction that we did our first one. The first one the club had in 12 years since its inception was the last one. So now this is the second one, and we think it's good to welcome all the new members and to embrace you and get you some idea of what we're all about and get you as enthusiastic about this as we are. We do other things like backup, the recording secretary for taking minutes and publishing stuff like that. We also are kind of like the bench warmers. If any other committee needs assistance, we're there to be called on to augment arms and feet and legs for whatever they need. I'm also supposed to talk about the International Committee. The International Committee is a placeholder because most of what we do is international. If you ask Jeff, up on the Camargue, it's like going to a different country. If we ever do take on an international project, we have a place for it, and so we can incorporate that into the club's activities. And that's the exciting world of the administrative committee.
Let's see, next up, Vernon, would you like to talk about fundraising, please? Very important.
Well, it's nice to hear that the Boquete Rotary Club is so recognised in our district, and I think we can be very proud to be members of this Boquete Rotary Club. But it's really come a long way. But like any club, without the money and the people, of course, it ain't going to be able to do much. So the fundraising committee is left with a task to look for various ways that we can get money. And we have to juggle sometimes because, your local businesses and local people can only give so much, and then they are burnt out, they know what they can do. And so we have to get inventive at how we're going to do it. And so it's up to all of us as club members to think of ways, ingenious ways, different ways that we can get funds into our club. We need funds for the club to run, as I said earlier on, but we also need funds for our projects. And some of those projects are very expensive, huge amounts of money. The good thing is we do have the foundation. We have got these global grants, and there's a magnification factor in these, and we won't go too much into that tonight. So the fundraising committee isn't the committee where we stand on the corner of the tin can and ask for money. It's actually a business planning committee in a way where we've got to find ways to get money to our club. And when we said earlier on, we sort of international, and it's that I think has really managed to keep our club where it is with all these many different projects that we do have, because we have all these other clubs in the USA and Canada that are very keen to help us, fortunately, and we've created quite a good alliance with these clubs, and we're very lucky, I think, in that, and that's one of the ways we are still going to continue working as the fundraising committee, is creating a bond with some of these other clubs and making sure that we advertise ourselves well, and that's what Randy was talking about tonight. I think a little bit about our marketing and so on, and I might just, if I may, just speak a little bit about what we're doing there. As I mentioned at one of our recent meetings, we are looking at wrapping up what our web page can do. Most web pages are just advertising sites. But ours is going to be an active website where we're going to really advertise what we're doing, but also it's going to be very interactive for all of our members to feel part of the club, and we'll be recording things and putting stuff on there that we can all see and enjoy and get involved in. And the other clubs around who are supporting us can also feel part of our club, and they can see what are we doing. So when we have a big speaker, we'll put that on there as well. So the fundraising committee is a big one, and we need help. It's not just the committee that's going to do all the work. We really ask all of our members to come up with some ideas. If you have anything, any way you can think of, ingenious ways of getting money into the club, and already we've had some people come forward. Randy's come through with some really interesting ideas, and
Will the web page be able to actually accept donations?
Absolutely. We've been working really hard on that. It's a tricky one as well, because the banks snatch and grab, and PayPal snatch and grab whatever they can, and then once you got it in there, it's very difficult to get it out of there into a bank account into Panama. So we've had some challenges, and we've been working on that for the last 3 months. Just how the heck do we easily get money from outside of Panama into the banks in Panama?
Can't we do that like a cross-block account instead?
We could. The problem is a lot of people are worried about the tax implications of money coming into an account.
As a foundation.
Yeah, possibly within doing a foundation. So I don't know enough about that, but yeah, we are looking at all these different ways we can do it. There's a way it can be done. It's nothing to worry about. It's just tricky. It's one has to think these things out. But yes, short answer is we're going to have donations both internally in Panama. Hit a button straight away to go to the bank account details. Another button for the PayPal, and another one for the bigger ones going from banks to banks. Yeah. Thank you, Alan, for that question. Yeah. Any questions about the fundraising committee? Yes.
Not a question, a comment. I think that is the most critical committee. And all of you newbies, please think very, very seriously about contributing some time and energy to the fundraising committee. Because without the fundraising, we don't get to do anything. That's the key source for doing all of our local Panama projects.
I'm thinking of this, just speaking of this, I've been a contributor for many years for any foundations. Why can't us as individual members donate as charity to a certain account? And why isn't that? Not tithing, but where we all go as a foundation, as individuals, and we donate whatever we generate here goes into a membership money there.
Well, we donate Doug and I donate every year to Rotary
There's
International.
international.
And we
would
do that share, because that's the money that will come back to our district
Right.
and we get earmarked to the club.
How could we do that as like Boquete? Why couldn't we generate just our club members doing basically a Charles Schwab investment company, and we donate to that, and it's generated back?
We did that in Telluride. We had a club account and we had a club foundation, which was a tax-deductible 501c3. All of the donations we put through that 501c3, so our members, but this is U.S. and U.S. based, so first of all, you're dealing with non-Americans.
Well, no, there are organizations here in Boquete, for example, Animales
Yes.
and Amigos de Boquete that are 501c3, whatever they, and right. So if you donate to them, it is U.S. tax deductible.
Right.
And
I'm talking about
our club hasn't chosen to do that yet.
You could worry about the donation in the United States.
Isn't what
Here.
Marty was taking the paper in Panama City for us to become a non-profit? Yeah.
That's to become a Panamanian nonprofit.
Okay.
That's a
As a
difference.
U.S.
You are with a profit already.
No, yeah, but
We might be able to run funds through a
I don't know.
system.
John, do you want to speak to that? Our status of becoming a Panamanian
somebody's business in Panama City.
charitable corporation and
501c3.
Well, not here.
No, not here.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we were doing more locally and more sort of hands on the ground, one of the things we were doing was selling coffee at the Tuesday market. And that was making us a fair bit of money while we had the coffee. And Susan Peterson very kindly was donating all the coffee. And we would sell $200-300 worth of coffee a day. And that brought in a lot of money, and she wanted that money to go to the education committee, and that funded a lot of the grants or the scholarships that we have. But that has unfortunately run dry. We had a few people give us a few days of coffee, but that's also, there's no coffee available. So we've sort of really run out of ways of getting money sort of on the ground right now. Randy's working on a coffee hop, as it were, for the different coffee shops in town. A system where he's looking at getting a stamp when you go to each one, and once you've got your 10 stamps, you come and you get your mug that says, coffee connoisseur Boquete or whatever. The Rotary logo's on there, and that will then allow you to have a discounted rate when you go to those shops for your coffee. That might be 10% off or whatever. So that's one way we're going to maybe try and sell some wares at the Tuesday market again. So
is he actually going out to talk to somebody?
yes, he's done that already, and they're very keen. They're very keen.
He's done lots of podcasts too.
Done a lot of podcasts and all that. So yeah.
Here's a hot new idea.
Yeah.
Fully credited to Amilcar Saru, who's going to be our incoming assistant district governor, and he's our past district governor from Panama. He said, why don't you guys have a concert with Michael's wife? And I haven't called Michael yet, but he did that. He is a past president of the Coronado Club, and he was at the conference too. And his wife, I guess, is a concert pianist. And they did that, brought her in as a fundraiser in David, and it went very well. So I'm going to put that out there. What I'll do is I'll commit to call Michael, see if his wife would be willing, what date, and then we can start talking about logistics and Boquete to handle that. And we should put it out to other Rotarians around Panama and invite them to come and set up a hotel and do this as a big fundraiser, not just one day. They'd love to come for the weekend.
Where are you going to find the piano?
Where are you going to find the performance facility?
Yeah, well, that's a good idea.
I would call a few people.
Yeah, Boquete is known for its blues and its jazz festival, and Boquete is a known musical site, so it can be done. Rather than saying, well, where would we do it, how would we do it? Let's find it. Let's just find the place. We'll find the place. We can do it. So yeah, brilliant idea. You know, I like the
It's
idea of
almost
using
our
the concept.
idea,
Yeah,
but I'll
yeah.
make the first call to see if we can lock
Yeah.
her in and get a date, and then we can do the
We talked about giving Molly Escondido, what do you think is that venue? I mean, that's right here.
Right.
Why take it to the beach?
Yeah.
No, we don't,
Boquete.
we want to do it in Boquete,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
years
we want
ago
to do
they
it.
did it in David.
He wanted his wife to come to Boquete.
One of the other things we had floating around, just so we could just stimulate some ideas, was that business directory for Boquete. I was saying earlier on today we needed to do, get something done at the house, and we sort of wondered, well, where do we go? Do we go to somebody else? And do you know of anybody who can do this? Do you know somebody who can do that? Who can do this? If we had ourselves a little business directory. We sold advertising in the business directory. We gave it out for free. This was something we used to do in Cambridge, New Zealand. Everybody gets one for free. Every business gets one, and people advertise in it. Became well known. It had nice big print. Wasn't a small print like a normal phone book. It had bigger print, and people put in adverts in there. And we could have, this sort of thing. And the nice thing about that is it's repeatable every year. You get a company that does the marketing, you get a company that does, you go around, so it's not the Rotarians running around trying to find, you do this like a business. So you get a company that does this, one company does this person does that. You look at your costs, you look at your advertising, and at the end of the day, you just tick, oh good, you made $20,000 out of that. These are sort of numbers we were making in June on that, so there's another option for us.
Are you recruiting new members to your committee, and if so, what kinds of skill sets are you looking for?
We want people, we're always looking for members, and as you said earlier on, as new members, don't think you're sort of locked into a committee and that's where you're stuck and you're not allowed to do anything else. We have a real loose sort of cage for our big holes. We get up and go and play a little bit in this one and go and play in that one. So if you have an interest and you have something you want to do to help with the fundraising, just hop in for a little bit and tell us, and if you want to run with it, run with it. If you don't, it's cool, but we'll get the idea. So yeah, the people we are looking for are entrepreneurial. People that you can sell, because that's what we're doing. It's like a little business. You need to get some money in. And you want to be entrepreneurial, you want to think outside the box, you want to be a bit different, you want to sell, you want to be exciting, you want to get out there and get people motivated, make them feel like they're doing some good for the community.
I know, I've been talking, I normally don't talk, I've had someone. I'm telling you, I've had 3 comments in the last few months about why don't we do anything like a walkathon? Why don't we do anything like a marathon? Why don't we do a hikers club that people donate per kilometer that you walk? That you go see different events or different areas in Boquete. Why don't we do something like that with a calendar or with something that everybody gets a stamp that, I climbed Mount Fuji 3 times. I only did it so I could get a stamp on my pole. Why don't we do something like that for the creative and for the people that really want to compete and really want to be on the mat?
Yeah. And there's a lot of artists around here as well. We could have an art exhibition as well. Come and put a donation in for Rotary. See some of the artists. Have them doing some work. Like the other thing, we can have events. We've got a golfing event. We're looking at having a combined with the David Club. They want to do a golf tournament with us. Obviously not this time of the year, but they're very keen to do a golf tournament with us. Where we can invite people from all over the country to the beat, and we can maybe do something on the weekend and do something in Boquete as well at the Sarah. So these are all the things we're looking at, and so any ideas we have would be great. A while back we had a meeting about the fundraising committee, and we threw all our ideas in the pot there as well. So having new people in the club, I'm sure we're going to have new ideas as well. So welcome you, and we'll probably have another meeting soon, and we'd love to have newbies up on board there because it's in the ideas.
How do we know when we have a meeting?
We'll tell you.
Okay.
We'll tell you, don't you
We're
worry.
part of every committee, and we don't get invited to the meeting. So if you want me to be, I need to know when the meeting's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you can send it out to maybe every member, right?
Yeah.
To have this meeting.
Yeah.
So
That's a good idea.
I don't know when committees are all meeting.
No, you should.
And I don't know if they're meeting every night at our hospital. That's the one.
Yeah. And I think and that's a good point you make there. Thanks, Kat. What we'll do, I think, for the future is even though it's an education committee meeting, even though it's whatever committee it is, I think the whole club should be told and invited. If you guys want to come on board, it's usually a Zoom meeting, hop on board, because, you know, even if they just want to listen, what does that committee do? Like, that'd be quite interesting, be quite cool. You know, so I think it's a great idea. I think we'll do that going forward. I like
And
that.
when doing an event, like a fundraising event, you're going to pull in resources outside your committee. You know, we're going to need a lot more membership. And the same thing with the foundation. It's more of a kind of background administration thing until there comes a point where there's a big push on something, and then that might require a lot more membership involvement.
And again, what I like about that idea, Kate, is because I said a while back, at the moment, there are a few people doing a lot of work in our club, and I want more people doing less work. You know, and that makes it much easier for everybody, and it isn't such a hard job. Because I have seen, I've been in Rotary for a few years now, and I've seen some really, really amazing people burn out Rotary and leave. Why? Because they're the ones who do everything, so what happens, they do everything. Eventually, so probably more, I'm too busy. And they leave. So that's why we have to be very careful. We've got some major talented people in our club, and some of them are very busy businessmen in the club store, and I'm worried that we might lose some of those really good people because we're asking too much of them, I feel. They all say yes, 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 but I know it's hard for them, so we need more help on the ground. That's me done.
All right, Doug, did you want to speak to something?
Not about membership.
Okay, well, speak about
John
something.
can speak about it.
Talk about something you're passionate
I think the most important thing is,
What committee are you on?
I'm on no committee.
He's on all.
No, that's not true. The most important thing is for our new members is for you to have fun and enjoy the process. And be aware of the fact, and Libby said a lot of things I was going to say about what our district is. Our district number is 4240. It's 4 wonderful countries, and having a sense of all of these different Rotarians in this district being involved in good projects and different projects, and in some cases you also being, our club also being involved in this project is a wonderful thing. And really, I have nothing much to say to you folks except have a good time, keep smiling, enjoy what you're doing, and learn what some of these committees are. Be patient with it. There's a lot of growth and a lot of issues with every club. But we need to raise money, as Glenn said, and if you come up with ideas for that, a raffle would be a great idea. But welcome. And thank you.
Speakers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm a speaker. That's
Right.
right. And most importantly, if you think of anybody that you would be interested in having speak to our club during one of our meetings, please let me know. I'm the speaker coordinator, and I think it's very important that rather than sit there at each of our meetings and just discuss our business, we bring in some outside stimulation and talks and issues that you would like to hear about. And again, if you come up with any ideas, especially you, Jeff, because you have thousands of people.
Yeah.
Bring them to me, and we'll get them on board. But most importantly, welcome and enjoy yourself and keep smiling. And I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
And you've done a good job with the speaker. Well, is there any questions from anybody? Because I think we've covered all that you want to say. Anything else, John?
The only other thing I want to add to raising money just for ideas is the only thing when I have a chance to sit and think. Garden clubs. So I'm looking at you thinking, I see your photos on Facebook every day of your beautiful photos. I see 150 other women and men like you. And if we did a best of Boquete garden, and we
We're
gave
already
a
doing
prize.
that. You're not paying attention.
I'm not.
We're
John
raising
Camp
money
is
for
doing
John
it
Camp
as a fundraiser. Who is?
Plants for Food Champs.
John Camp.
And
No,
the tours.
I'm thinking bigger than that.
The tours.
We could do it again, we just need to give it some time.
Yeah.
The garden tour is $75 a head.
Yeah, but they're going to take you in a van, and each house you get something to eat,
No,
something to drink.
I'm just
And then
thinking,
I have to
I'm
clean
thinking
up
of
all that.
competition,
Oh.
nothing to do with any work.
Oh, the best Christmas
I'm
lights.
talking like the best Christmas lights, the best Halloween decorations. I'm talking about the best garden in Boquete. And everybody put their best votes in. Everybody says okay, and they vote for the whole town of Boquete.
How are you going to raise money? Just having people come to see the gardens and they vote?
Absolutely. People have to pay to vote. So you've got 10 people that like your garden, that's $100. You've got 100 people that like your garden, that's $5 each, whatever. It's a way to bring everybody in that loves our community and loves our beautiful, and want to show our people in the States, Canada, wherever, how gorgeous and how good we are in the community. And it's a cheap way to raise money. Because you've already got the natural beauty.
Well, that's Gordon's family, right?
What time of year would you do it?
Anytime in the location.
No, you can't do
Rainy
the dry
season.
season. The dry
Rainy
season.
season.
Yeah.
Dry season,
Do
really,
a
really.
photo in the morning, and each people present their photo, and they get voted on. Whatever. There's so many ways you could do it, with very little time consumed.
Well, that kind of project is something you can involve a lot of club members.
Exactly.
And club members want to be involved.
Exactly.
And want to be hands-on different projects. It's fun.
And it wouldn't be Rotary or Rotaract excluded. They would be included. In fact, it would raise the funds up. Because family, friends, whatever, are going to want to vote. And you could do anonymous voting per picture. What's your favorite? This person's going to get this. And it would even be something that is, it's anonymous.
Fundraising committee will
Who's
work
wants to work it out, Joyce? Yeah.
Send it out. Send it out to the members for sign up.
I think you should. But I'm just saying, there's so many really cheap ways we can raise some money.
Can I interject something really quickly?
Sure.
Back in my
What,
later
you
days,
want to organize it? Thank you, Jen.
I'm all about flowers. I'm all about flowers. No, actually, during the fundraiser thing, the 5K thing up here in Boquete is an excellent idea. First thing, you don't have to pay for the track. All you have to do is determine the 5K distances. You can buy medals for each one of the participants, very cheap. I actually have a point of contact. That's the karate guy, the head karate guy down in David, where we could get those from. You have everybody register, and they pay their own fees, $35, $40 to participate in this 5K. You work with local law enforcement in order to cordon the area and with medical personnel to cover in case of any emergencies. And then, you set up a date. Prior to the great COVID plague in David, they used to have 5Ks. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that would run in those 5Ks. We're talking 5,000, 6,000 people. And I was like amazed.
Why don't you set that up?
Well, the only things you have to do is coordinate. First thing, does Rotary have an anniversary date of its inception?
Yes,
Sure.
February 23rd.
February 23rd.
That's a perfect day, too.
It would be called the Rotary 5K. There you got your advertisement.
Yeah, and you know what you do as well? Because there are a lot of people say, well, I could never run 5K, you get your family involved. So you get the kids, they'll do, you get like a relay race, you get them a baton or whatever. And the kid runs the first 1K or 500 meters, the next one runs the next, and they hand the baton on to the rest of the family members, and you can involve the whole family in the 5K run.
Well,
Do
that's
a run
why.
and a walk section.
Yeah.
I would run,
That's-
but I'd walk.
Well, on the 5Ks I used to run, we called it a walk run.
Yes.
Because most people won't, as soon as you tag that word run, they don't want to get involved.
Don't you do two things, though? You got two levels, a 10K for the serious runners
Yeah.
and a 5K for the not so serious.
Yes, but when you
And
do
1K
that,
for us.
when you do that, when you have a 10K and a 5K, what you have to do is use them as separate events.
Yes.
Plus, it takes a greater area to cordon, and that costs more police effort and more people covering as far as logistics, as far as medical personnel.
Wonderful, I think.
5K.
And I know our mayor and first lady would be on it.
Oh,
We just got a beautiful little park.
Exactly.
exactly. And you
How many
set up.
times is it around that park? For a 2K, 2.5K?
Well,
Okay.
you want to actually
do a no
use
K.
kind of
Okay.
smooth and road that doesn't have inclines or declines, which the back streets along here, and then all you have to do is you get water bottles, and Yeah, and then they have the label on it for Rotary.
Let's do it.
Great idea.
Let's do
I
it.
like it.
So they just do it for the glory of getting a medal? It's not.
Absolutely, all runners do.
Really?
Yeah.
What you add in is,
The annual Rotary 5K.
and what you add in is you have to tell them this is a charity event.
So you can do something a lot bigger and financially bigger than this. So this is a great idea. You can do it in addition to it. The V Club and the Boquete Club, you have some of the best cyclists in the country right here. If you do a cycle race between David and Boquete,
Yeah.
and you have a registration fee, have the two clubs be involved in it and split the revenue for it. You make some big
But
bucks.
I would do that as a separate
Oh,
event.
excellent.
Me too.
It doesn't
Just
matter,
do
but
this
it's a good
5K.
idea.
Our neighbor just rode her bicycle from City to Boquete and back in one day.
Everybody
Yeah.
does.
So there's
It's
a
about-
1,000 of these kids that
It's about
race.
2.5 hours up,
It's
about an hour down.
incredible woman. She's very good. So here's a, you know, if we try to do February 23rd is a Thursday, and actually we're gonna always need to keep it on a weekend. So do you really wanna do it?
Do the anniversary.
Maybe close to it on the weekend.
Whatever, you
Or
wouldn't
do you
have
wanna
to
wait
wait
until
do that.
February? Do
You
you
wouldn't
wanna
have
do
to wait for a
it?
day though, you could
Yeah,
say
you could do
anniversary week.
Yeah.
You could do
Or
it
you
any
could
day.
go with the February, Rotary's February 23rd 5K.
Let's do it.
But it's not actually on the 23rd.
I love
If
the
you're gonna do
Definitely
the
in
concert,
Phil has something to say.
if you're gonna do the concert idea, with the lady with the piano, I think the most advantageous way to do that is to find a nice facility, and it was already mentioned tonight, block out all their hotel rooms,
Yep.
and in exchange for the use of the facilities for free, we're going to take every single one of your hotel rooms, and we're going to have a Valentine's night package of romance, where you can, and the people who buy the hotel rooms get VIP seating to the concert, and those people should pay all your bills plus. And then we sell individual tickets beyond that for a romantic night on Valentine's night. When you got somebody doing like
That's a good idea. Valentine's Day.
Because everybody's always looking for something to do on Valentine's Day.
Yes, yes.
That's a Tuesday.
But see, it's perfect because you won't be competing with anybody else. You know, if you do something really special. We filled the Omni Hotel 3 years in a row, 300 rooms.
Wow. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what, I bet we can go to Salinas right
All these
now
ideas.
before anybody ever even touches them. For $70 a night is what they rent their rooms for. We can probably book the whole place and say, okay, on this weekend, we want to buy every room you have, and we'll bring, and you can charge $100 a night.
I would think if their room rate is 70, you'd want 149 for the
Yep,
night.
yeah. But I mean, you could set easily 100, 150 a
How
night.
many rooms do they have in there?
34.
That's it.
But if that was your base, and then you're selling concert tickets beyond that.
All good ideas, good ideas.
Even 199 a night,
Yep.
you know.
People are gonna come here and see
And
that.
put a bottle of champagne in the room and some flowers.
Yep.
It
We
costs you
definitely get some
$20.
Rotarians coming
Yeah.
in from
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
From all over.
I'd love to come.
That would be our first point of interest, is to invite all the Rotarians.
You know,
I'd like to just thank Kat and Alan for putting this on, and I'd like to thank John for his hospitality. I don't mean to be rude, but I have to go home and let my dogs out, and I have to clean up. But I wanted to thank you all for coming, and thanking John again, and Kat for putting this on. It was a lot cooler than I thought.
Thank you. And I think this has been very exciting.